in the Fortuner 4x4 Challenge.
Back me.
Back your hero and you could win a Fortuner. Enter now.
Hello and welcome to the Dakar Series China Rally, the first edition of this week-long cross-country challenge in the heart of Inner Mongolia. But what is the Dakar Series?
The Dakar Series is a label that we have created in 2008, given to some events that will respect a certain level of organization, a certain level of quality, of safety, of security, and in line with the Dakar spirit.
The Dakar Series China Rally has attracted an entry of 104 competitors from 9 different nations, entering into 4 different categories. Competition is expected to be tough throughout. The competition will be very tight for the top 3. We have the best Chinese driver, Zhao Feng and Han Wei. They actually have the ability to win some stages and perhaps win the rally. Their main rival, though, will be the South African Giniel de Villiers, and the fight will be very hard. Personally, though, I would like to see a Chinese winner.
The
Toyota Gazoo Works team might have something to say about that. Giniel de Villiers, a Dakar winner, is partnered by Lucio Alvarez, experiencing his first rally with this Toyota Works team. It's my first time in China, and I'm surprised by the country. The terrain is amazing. The course and the dunes, they are big and high. Despite the presence of Dakar greatness, Zhu Yung is not concerned, and his biggest rival? If you ask me who my main opponent is, I think it's me. We will all do our best. His countryman Han Wei runs a team and has an international success. De Villiers and Peter Hansel are really my idols, the 2 drivers that I really adore. So today, one of my idols is coming here, and I'm very happy to participate in the same race as him. It's great. I don't have to go to South Africa to see him. I can race against him and see how I line up against him here in China. At the starting ceremony, Han was able to meet his idol and main adversary, a momentous occasion for both him and the rally. The event is a collaboration between Dakar owners ASO and FB Life, who run the FB Festival. I'm a fan of the Dakar Series and the Dakar for about 20 years. It's because of that I founded FB Life. China is now entering a new era, and it needs new teams, better equipment and better rallies. But at the same time, a rally with a Chinese spirit. It's that reason we organise this rally. FB Life forms the base of the Dakar Series race, already a huge festival of music and cars in the heart of Inner Mongolia. 2 million people are expected to attend, watch the end of the Dakar Series and then celebrate off-road racing in all forms. Now there's a dedicated stadium, the home for the FB Festival. A few years ago, this place was a desert, so we wanted to keep this spirit of Rally Raid, and we will continue to explore and find a good balance to protect the local systems and also innovate as well. For those that know FB Life, you'd expect no different, but the podium ceremony to kick off the event was one of the most spectacular ever seen in Rally Raid. Inner Mongolia sits south of the country of Mongolia, but the northern part of China. 1,500 kilometres of competition are made up of gradually lengthening loop stages around the FB Park, then a 400-kilometre run to Alexa Wright, where another 2 long loop stages are run. The return to FB Park is slightly shorter before a 30-kilometre show in front of many, many fans. Stage 1 was a warm-up, 57 kilometres with no liaison and a chance to test the car within the FB Park. A sprint attitude would win the day and set the rhythm for the rest of the rally. Who will be fast and who will be slow? It's time to find out in the sands of China. New to the works Toyota Gazoo Racing South Africa team, Luciano Alvarez flies the flag for Argentina. Problems with his GPS switching off held him back. The dunes were proving pretty tough. While rear-wheel drive makes a car look spectacular, the side-by-side class is about efficiency. The YZF 1000 of Hu Jungyang was made for this terrain, and his direct lines through the dunes paid great rewards come stage end. With only cars on the rally, they do not offer the benefit of following bike tracks. Han Wei might be favourite Chinese driver after his Silk Way successes, but was slowed by having to make tracks for the rest. Cautious, he dropped nearly 3 minutes to second place finisher. Giniel de Villiers was third into the stage and soon began passing cars. No problems to report, the Toyota is surely the best suited to these soft dunes and after years of development should be bulletproof. It's the longer stages where the South African will truly shine, but he enjoyed his first day in the Chinese dunes.
You know, really short stage, but not easy. Very difficult dunes, and some places really difficult to see. You know, after about 20 k's, we did about 1 kilometer extra. Got a bit lost, but I can certainly see that this is going to be a very tough race.
So, a surprise stage 1 winner? Perhaps not. Arigel is ultra-local. These dunes are his garden, and therefore experience of picking the correct route paid hugely as others got lost. He's already expressed his gratitude for Dakar coming to his home. He is the first leader. Every weekend I used to drive my own car in these dunes, so it's great fun to know the dunes so well. It's not really a surprise to the real locals. But for those who have not experienced this part of the world, the dunes have been providing a real challenge. The sand is soft, super soft. sometimes reverse is the only option. And sometimes flat out is the only way to keep momentum. However, sometimes that's simply not possible. I don't have a choice, the sand is too soft today. I didn't realise it was such a huge dune, so now it's time to dig. Well, that's one way to free a car. For most, Aoxa Left is a new discovery. The town of 150,000 people covers 80 kilometers and is known for its desert tourism and unique ecosystem. If you look towards the west, 20 or 30 kilometers away, you can see the Tangi Desert. Over there's not only desert, but over 400 lakes. So the desert of Aoxa sits basically on water. The largest and most famous of those lakes is Lake Swan, full of wildlife in the wettest season. But a humid desert so close to altitude of the Helen Mountains creates a unique atmosphere for stones to grow, sold at this local market. I am a stone collector from another city, and I am very honoured to come here to Aoxa to participate in this market. These are many of my precious stones, and I hope I can find some new owners for them. Owners that can appreciate them as much as I do. Stage 2 will be a bigger challenge than the first, deeper into the Tenja Desert. The dunes are soft and irregular. A late midday start means the stage was shortened by 28 kilometres, and the first kilometres again, another blast through the FB Park display before the freedom of the dunes. There is a healthy entrance of T2 production vehicles, the same 4x4 you can buy for the road with uprated suspension and roll cage. Zhang Jifen in 209 leads the 10-strong field. The beauty of this place is staggering. But in the heat of the midday sun, the direct light means it's tricky to really see the contrast of the short and aggressive dunes, and therefore judge your speed. The vegetation gives some help and provides fluid to the many lakes around the area. Difficulties continued for the favourite Zhu Yong. In the first 2 days, the Chinaman dropped 37 minutes. Sixth position on day 2 for the hot favourite Han Wei. The top seed was happy to be at a good rhythm, even if he admitted he was a little bit slow. Also dropping time, Giniel de Villiers. But at least the South African had an excuse. He got stuck on the top of a dune for a few minutes. He claimed he was too busy admiring the view. Take a look for yourself.
It's definitely a good place to come and practice some dune driving, and you know, it's more than a good challenge. It's as good as anything I've done before, and as tough as anything I've done before.
The sands have surprised the visitors in their size, steepness and softness. So a heavy rear-wheel drive buggy is not the ideal machine, but Zhang Ming did his best to finish fourth. He was just seconds behind his teammate, Louis Feilong. It was an impressive day for the team run by Han Wei, and Lou was happy to beat his teammates and his team boss. The beauty of this desert with its lakes are not lost on any of the visitors. Lucio Alvarez loved the short, aggressive dunes, and his experience of this Hilux is building, but the car is quite different to what he's used to. The car goes really, really well. It's so easy to drive, and I feel really good with it. The stage, though, was really difficult to see the dunes because they were so short, but it was a great stage. Once again, the local impressed. In just his fourth cross-country rally, Aragol was 4 minutes clear. Today, the stage was good. It went really smoothly, and as the first car to open the road, I had to be a bit steady. Normally, I drive faster, but it felt good to open the road, and everything went very, very well. For the locals of this world, camels are an important part of Mongolian culture. In the region, the Baktrikan camel is the only wild animal of the desert, but the double-humped mammal is also domesticated for caravans along the Silk Road. This week, camels are being celebrated here in Elxa. I come here to participate in the Nadam festival from very far away. It's part of my culture. We have to participate in this festival. It's part of our life. I've come here with my wife and 30 camels. The festival is once a year. It's a Mongolian festival with lots of history. I came here with my family. I was the first to arrive, and now we're heading off to the race to see which camel is best. It's not just camel racing here. The Mongols have a very unique culture dating back for centuries, and all of them are celebrated at the Nadam. Wrestling, that is one of the 3 Mongolian arts, along with horse riding and archery. They are the 3 things a Mongolian man should master, so we had to come here. It's a festival that unites Mongolian people every year, and we have competitions to see who is best. This year, the festival has even attracted some international interest.
My name's Alex Knight,
Okay, where are you from?
Australia. We've been invited to attend an international camel conference here in our province, and so that linked into this festival, so awesome to be here from Azerbaijan.
An incredible voyage of culture here in Inner Mongolia. Stage 3 should have been the longest stage of the rally, but the competitive section was slashed in half, the challenge already recognised to be enough at 232 kilometres. As a rookie, Ying Ying was doing very well, leading the open class supported by Liqui Moly. The vehicles are pretty bespoke and quite odd looking, but on stage 3 his transmission failed and he lost that lead. For those that did reach the finish, it had clearly been a tough on navigation and driving. Rally leader Arugel had opened the road and by the end of the stage was well down the finishing order, 40 minutes lost to the stage winner. It hadn't been much better for Giniel de Villiers. He was 30 minutes back off rally leader coming into the stage. Lost at kilometre 35, a group of them took a while to find their way. Han Wei was another. Although having started later, he lost less time and by stage end was just off overall rally lead. Starting down the order had been a huge advantage for Sun Ping. With plenty of tracks to follow, he ended the day P4 in his SMG buggy. Wherever you looked, the yellow Han Wei team were making awesome tracks. Wei Hongji had a different buggy from MD, but the results on stage 3 were still great. P3, although he'd already collected a 30-minute penalty for missing a waypoint on day 1. Chen Feng, who is yet to pick up a penalty, and so with the second best time over stage 3, elevated himself into the top 3 and best 4x4. And the winner of the stage, therefore leading the rally overall, Zi Yungang. 15th on the road clearly helped, and a 7th in the opener meant it was 4 two-wheel drive buggies in the top 5. I'm happy. We didn't really expect to have such a great result. I love driving in the desert. I was 15th on the road at the start and by the end I'd passed the very first car, so today we were good. So it was a waypoint at kilometre 35 that had caught out the top runners, the big dunes making them hard to find. Drivers even collaborated and tried to help each other. But what is a waypoint and what are they for? A waypoint is used for 2 reasons: to indicate the mandatory way to follow in a roadbook and also to control the competitor's route. It's a guide and a control. And how do they work then? And how do competitors know where they are?
In the road book we get normally a compass bearing and we have to try to follow this compass bearing in the desert to find a waypoint. But it sounds quite easy, but it's very difficult in the nature because especially here, if you look in the big dunes we have got in China, it's not easy to do a straight line. You're always going in circles to find a way through the dunes. And you have to go through a radius of 200 meters in the center of the point to validate this point.
And if a competitor doesn't find a waypoint, he has a penalty, which is shown in the roadbook. To make it clearer for co-drivers, they highlight all the important information.
So here in the roadbook you can see the numbers, the compass bearing at kilometer 41, for example. I have to cross dunes. It's off-piste in the dunes, direction 300. And the next information is 6.58 kilometers later, still in the dunes, and there is a fence. and I have to find a waypoint there. That means I have to go 6.5 kilometers through the dunes, up and down, and I have to try to keep this direction to know what direction I'm going, what bearing I'm going. I have got my GPS in the car, and I have got a compass bearing showing me in the GPS with electronic compass in there. So there is no visual reference in the desert to find this waypoint. You have to find it by your notes in the road book and by the GPS and the compass bearing.
So then, how does Race Direction know where each car has been? We have a GPS device that reports information to us at the end of the stage. This device tells us that, say, 302 missed this waypoint and this waypoint. I know exactly where they have been. After 3 stages, Z leads his team boss Han by just over 3 minutes. De Villiers third, Aragol down to 5th spot.
Cautivo batata cacciassi vale cacciassi bacia cautivo Papa mia vono haina therefore
You know what time it is. Pagania, Ratana to me.
Ai Diego Contano
Keep back guys on the adventurous route.
This is the BSL, Chief. 1 minute to up, the next to down. As far.
Talk about well executed, everything ever so right about it.
This season, my guy. This is feel.
Looking to put it in the back corner.
This season, champions will rise. The ABSA Premiership. It's Super Disky on Supersport, your world of champions. Proudly brought to you by ABSA.
Why do we love it?
What a game we've got in store.
Is it because of more than 60 years of Champions League football? Or could it be the world's finest stars on one stage?
Absolutely perfect.
Is it the unexpected moments?
Brilliant chip. Oh, what a goal.
Maybe it's the number 10. The other guy. Or him. We love the magic, the flair, the fight, and finesse. We love all of this because we live for this. The UEFA Champions League on Supersport, your world of champions.
Who will you back in the Fortuna 4x4 Challenge?
I'm the one to back.
Back your hero and you could win a Fortuna. Enter now.
As the cars left for stage 4, one was left in the bivouac. The works Toyota Hilux of Argentine Lucio Alvarez.
Unfortunately, Lucio had to withdraw from the race this morning. Yesterday he took a big hit in the dunes, a very high impact, more than 6G on the data logging. And then last night we took him to the doctor. He was feeling a little bit dizzy, and then during the night it got worse. So unfortunately Lucio decided that he has to withdraw from the race.
Stage 4 would be the longest competitive stage, 90% dunes. It would provide another huge challenge deep in the Badan Jilan Desert with its 500-metre mega dunes. Going into the day, Zhang Quang was the leader of the side-by-side class in his Yamaha, but he had issues, so brother Huang Jiang took back the lead, having been first in class on the first day of competition. He finished stage 4 just outside the top 10 overall. These dunes are known to be the longest in the world. Really, they look like mountains. In the open class, Su Baiyong has taken control with a 3-hour lead and was 5th overall on day 4. An up and down stage for Lu Feilong. He was 3rd on stage 2, but dropping an hour getting lost on stage 3. Also, with a penalty for missed waypoint, he's well off the fight for victory. Third on stage 4 was Giniel de Villiers, and he was best of the FIA-sanctioned cars. He had a lot of cars to pass though, and again had issues with navigation.
A little bit frustrating at the moment because, you know, we can't get a clean stage every time something happens. You know, yesterday we lost 43 minutes and today we lost 7 minutes, so we just can't seem to get it right, so we'll try again tomorrow.
Thanks to his stage 3 win, Yonggang Zi opened the stage and saw nobody all day long. His pace kept him in front and he navigated faultlessly to set a pretty good benchmark, one that looked to be enough for a second stage victory. That was until the nightclub team Nissan pulled into the end of the stage. Arigel started 18th on the road, so had even more traffic than de Villiers to pass in the dunes. 34 minutes after Z had ended the stage, local Mongols set a time 8 minutes faster, taking his third stage win. Yesterday we wasted time, but today we drove faster and made it, so we're glad. Tomorrow I will try to be fast and try and get closer to that overall lead. If not, we'll just stick to our pace. Awesome. Some of these mega dunes can be up to 500 meters high. The sand is damp from the springs below ground, which lets the sand stick together and rise. For us, it's provided these wondrous landscapes, not seen anywhere else in the world. Light has dawned on a new desert for rallying and discovered new talents from the area. Not least, triple stage winner Arigel, beating some of the best in the world. But how was the Mongol discovered?
I met him at the Taklamakan rally earlier in July. It was just exceptional to see how fast he was. It was incredible to see how fast he was. And after the team asked me to follow him in training, I realized that I would die if I tried to follow him. By far one of the best that I've seen in dune driving. His skills were incredible. I've never seen someone drive so fast in the dunes, but fast and controlled. So his technique is somewhat different to the others, but he's a master. He's a master in the dunes, and as I said, we call him the Desert Fox.
So was the Desert Fox trained in the sands? No, I had no training before. This is my first time with the night team participating in these big events. I learnt in the Xinjiang province for 11 or 12 days, but I was also born in Alex Left in the Tengali Desert. So when I go out in the desert, I walk in the desert every day, but I never learned how to do this rallying. And now I have the chance to do it, and I love it.
If you look at the telemetry and you download the data on the car, he's really good at managing the car as well. So it's not as if he's out of control, it's not as if he's doing anything silly. He really just is a talented driver.
Driving in the desert is like taking a roller coaster, but when you climb the dunes, it feels really amazing.
His job as a youngster was to transport fuel across the desert, and that's where he learned the skills. The shorter the route he took was the faster he'd be, the more money he would make.
It's an amazing story of discovery, and it's clear Arigel loves what he does. So how far could he and the team go?
And the idea is in 2019 that we can take this team to the Dakar.
Okay, you win. Okay, cool.
Alxa Wright provided great hospitality, and the whole town got involved in the celebrations in the bivouac with a show of epic music and lights. Stage 5 was modified to 255 kilometres, the roads a little faster than Stage 4 as we loop back to Alxa Wright. Heading into the stage first, as he had done on Stage 2 and 3, Arigel led the caravan. He wanted to push, but instead he got stuck in his Nissan pickup and lost 19 minutes to the stage winner. The route suited the two-wheel drive machines, so the leader of the rally should have been able to capitalise. But he was passed by De Villiers on the road and couldn't keep up. Fourth spot, 9 minutes back, he succumbed his overall lead. It was Giniel De Villiers' day. 9 minutes better than Z, he was on full attack. Finally, no navigation issues and the Toyota looked strong. But it wouldn't be enough for stage victory.
Would be nice to get a stage. Maybe we can try and see if we can do that tomorrow. So we will push tomorrow because there's only a small gap to the guy in second, which is basically 1 minute and 40 seconds. But it's better that way around than the other way around. Definitely better than yesterday.
Upsetting De Villiers' party, Han Wei finally showed his hand properly. Going into the day, he was 21 minutes off the overall lead, but he freshened up and arrived at the finish 25 seconds faster than Giniel to take the stage win. Yesterday, our gearbox was broken and we wasted some time. So we changed it because there were still 2 long stages left and we have to push hard to take the stage win. If not, we have no other chances, so we decided to catch up today as much as we could. Sao Boyeng was the only open-wheel vehicle without penalty, so led the class by over 3 hours, but on stage 5 his luck ran out. Issues with the rear axle meant he went over the maximum time limit and lost his lead. It was a similar story in T2. Ruchuna Xieng picked up a 6-hour penalty after 9 hours in the stage, and he too lost his advantage. De Villiers' rally lead is small over Z, Han ahead of triple stage winner Aguirre, and surely it's those 4 for victory. Lakes are unusual in the desert, but not here in Inner Mongolia. We are in the Alshan Right in Inner Mongolia province. This is the Barangilan Desert, and this desert is 47,000 square kilometers. There are more than 100 lakes in this desert, and the local farmers will protect the desert and the lakes because the local people survive thanks to this water. They have to protect it. This area is rich with underground water from springs, and that keeps the lakes full. That's why the lake never dries out. There are some salt lakes because the soil has salt in it. The springs push the water through the salt, and that makes the water salty.
盐碱地，所以它冒出的那个水就成了咸湖了。它但是冒的水是淡水，是这种。
And some are red, thanks to bacteria eating the salt. The colours are wondrous. Time to return to AXA Left and the FB Park. Like the route to Alexa Wright, it's a long day, even with the stage shortened to 240 kilometres. Competitors would begin the stage beside the Desert Museum. Han Wei opened the stage hoping to close the 13-minute gap to Giniel de Villiers and snatch victory. He was setting tracks for the rest, but found himself off the ideal route and damaged his rear suspension. The SMG would go no further. Giniel de Villiers drove past, pushing for the stage win, but at around the 100-kilometre mark he slowed, steering problems. He crept to the stage gate at CP1 and took a maximum 10-hour time penalty. Next up was the previous rally leader Yonggang Zi. He motored on, passing Wei and de Villiers limping through the stage. It must have felt great. But at kilometre 180, his SMG buggy stopped and he would fail to finish as well. The top four had all failed to finish. Fifth into the stage was local man Ogorel, surely the rally victor now. But around the same time Wei and de Villiers had issues, the Nissan stopped as well. Broken rear drive. Ogorel would not finish. Another parked up in the stage, Zhu Yung. In all, 22 cars failed to finish the stage, many with gearbox or suspension or steering damage. One of the few who was able to repair in the desert, Cheng Feng, finished 3 hours back, but such was the carnage, he's elevated himself to third overall. P3 on the day went to the side-by-side of Zhang Hujiang. He had lost an hour the day before and therefore his class lead, but has been the standout T3 vehicle. The good news continues. Ma Heilong, rung by the Ningxing sailing team, had started the day sixth, 1 hour 42 minutes back from the lead. But with this second place finish, he found himself at the head of the rally and on course for victory. The only reason Zhang Ming has not led by a healthy margin was his confusion at the end of the first stage, where he collected a penalty of 40 minutes for missing a waypoint. Zhang Ming won the stage to set up an intriguing final day, just 1 minute 40 off victory. When I passed Wei, I thought I might move up 1 or 2 positions. Because of my first stage where I lost 40 minutes, I've been aiming for the top 10. But I guess you should never give up until the very last moments. All change in the general standings. No sign of the previous top 5 of the rally draws to a close. Let's now learn more about this side-by-side category. Based on the FIA T3 regulations, which limits power and speed for light vehicles, it's been transformed into a more cost-effective regulation for the Dakar Rally. It's therefore a perfect entry point into off-road racing, but the sensations are very different to normal cars. This car has no windscreen. The drivers are exposed to the outside, so human and nature can be united and we can be closer. When we're racing, there's so much wind it feels like we're going at the lightning speed. It's really exciting. The car we drive has no windows, no covers, so the wind is really strong for us. If the weather is warm, we are comfortable, but this morning it's really cold, so it's quite uncomfortable, and we get very cold. It's the wind that makes us feel cold. The side-by-side vehicles have tremendous desert ability, and in heavy dunes can match the very best machines. The pleasure is that we're driving in the desert and we can climb onto really high dunes. No matter how high the dune, we can climb to the top. It's really not a problem for us. Our car is best in the desert. Because of its ability and its direct drive, it's fantastically accessible to all. This kind of vehicle has really good handling. It's quite cheap and it's really easy to drive. It's for the normal people, and normal people can accept this great price. However, it's still a machine and machines can go wrong. At the cutting edge of design and lightness, sometimes things go awry. For Peng Hu Li, he found issues on this stage requiring running repairs. For this vehicle, the transmission train is not like other vehicles. It's belt-driven, so more delicate and made of rubber. During the race, it's really easy to brake. When I drive this car, I have to be more careful in case it does break, and if I make mistakes, I break the transmission. Today, I had to change it. This is the new entry point to Dakar. It's a really great pleasure. So what had happened on stage 6? Car after car stopped in the dunes. Broken. Not able to finish. The 264-kilometre stage had wiped out half the field. One car and one man you wouldn't expect to see caught up in the chaos was Dakar expert Giniel de Villiers. But he had been. Back at the bivouac, the team had work to do.
There was like a road in small dunettes, and we turned to the left and we turned to the right to go over the dunette, and I was in second gear accelerating, and as I went over the dunette, just a big explosion. Obviously hit something. I knew I hit something, a rock on the other side of the dune. It completely destroyed my front suspension, and my steering was gone.
So the culprit of everyone's issues, a rock uncovered from the sand. The final stage. The planned 28-kilometre stage had been shortened to just 7. A final 8 minutes then, blasting around the FB Park. The reason? The early arrivals to the park for the festival had filled the local dunes, making it too dangerous to race. The final day might have been simple, but the rally in all had been very tough, not least for the T2 category. Zhu Donghe inherited the T2 lead after Wu Qinashen's problems of day 5, and there he stayed. He was the only T2 to finish without penalties. Dakar is a dream for everyone who loves racing. I have realized my dream twice, and Dakar changed my life. I think I'm going to go and do it again. I'm almost 50 years old, and I really want to take part in all the different categories, the quad, the motorbikes, the trucks, and the cars before I'm 60 years old. The headline stage finishes, like third on stage 6, showed Hu Jiang could well have won the side-by-side class. Had it not been for losing 3.5 hours on stage 5, the gap to his brother was only 40 minutes. They both completed the full route without penalties, but Quang did not have the car issues, so won the class. This is so beautiful, I've dreamed of this. The route designed by the Dakar people has been really interesting and challenging. Sometimes the Chinese routes are much easier than this. But we race cars for challenges. That is what we want. The open class allows cars regulated for score or Baja. They aren't really designed for the desert sands, so the attrition rate was super high. Alex Zhu eventually won the class, miles ahead of the wounded competition. That fix on the penultimate stage paid dividends for Feng Cheng. He may have been stationary for about 2 hours, but getting to the stage end meant he slotted into a podium finish, third and crucially first FIA vehicle. The Best Rookie award went to Ming Xiang, by the end just 1 minute and 44 seconds off victory. He would have liked a longer final day, as he was confident to close the gap and gave it everything over the final 7 kilometres. He was equal fastest on the final stage with Heilong Mei. Crucially, the Nissan driver had been one of just 5 to complete the rally without any penalties. Like the tortoise and the hare, his 10-year-old vehicle had survived, and slow and steady had won this Dakar Series China Rally. I am very excited by this win. My car did a really good job on this rally. I had to look at the car last night because we were so lucky yesterday, and I think luck has a really important part to play in this win. No change in the order since stage 6. Ma, Zhang, Cheng, Wei and Tao in the top 5. De Villiers 18th, Han Wei in 20th and Arigel in 22nd. It's clear the first Dakar Series China Rally has been a great success. Firstly, what we did is turn something impossible into possible. And it's always difficult to start, but now we have the first Dakar Series in China. I'm so happy to have cooperated with everyone, and I'm also very happy to have welcomed so many international drivers as well as Chinese drivers into this big event. And I look forward to seeing everyone next time in Alexa. Well, what a week it's been. Full of stunning scenery and fantastic competition. It's been a pleasure to visit Inner Mongolia and experience the Dakar Series China Rally, the very first edition.